We're going to close the show with a new comic to the Bay Area. She's from LA. She lives here now. She wrote for the Roseanne Show and has been on the Jay Leno Show. And I think you're going to be seeing quite a lot of her in the Bay Area and certainly in Viva Variety. So let's hear it for Betsy Salkind.
This was a techno diva hand-me-down. It wouldn't give up the headdress. Well, do you like impressions? I don't do any. No, I'm kidding, I do one. This is my impression of a seagull. This is a seagull. Because he lost his job, because they did random drug testing where he works, which I think is wrong. I think that's wrong. I think if you are not allowed to do drugs, then how are they going to get anyone to work for Domino's? And now they have a home drug testing kit. Why? I mean, you have to be severely fucked up to not know whether you've done any drugs or not. Speaking of chemo, I just saw the movie Stepmom, because I'm very behind in my films. And in it, Susan Sarandon plays a woman dying of cancer, and there's a whole genre of films like this, and you know it's one of those because it's always Susan Sarandon, Meryl Streep, or Deborah Winger. But I learned something from this film. I learned that whenever there's a woman in a film dying of cancer, it's really just an actress without makeup. That's all that is. Which really puts a lot of pressure on the rest of us. I go out of the house one day, I don't have any makeup on, everyone's like, oh, cancer. It's all right, I'm cancer-free, see? Well, I did just move here from LA, and boy, what a relief, because LA is scary. Because sometimes it rains. Like this much. Ooh, storm watch. And when I first moved there, I thought that was crazy. What's the problem? But it turns out it really is a problem, because no one in LA knows how to drive in rain. And they don't have accidents there, they have pileups. The record, I believe, was the 195 car pileup on the Long Beach Freeway. It was just last year. 195 cars. How does this happen? I mean, I know someone stopped short for a squirrel, the next one's on the cell phone, maybe the third one. But by the time you're the 30th car, what is wrong with you? And by the time you're the 195th car, you're a fucking idiot. You hadn't even left your house, it was on the news. I'm 96, figured it out. Oh, I remember my Catholic school days. That was awful. You know, being a Jew and all. very good too, though. I couldn't go home for Passover this year because I had a yeast infection. All right, some of you are going to have to ask your Jewish friends. It's just a bread joke, it's not a visual. Of course, now I'm a Christian Scientist. It's the only health plan I could afford. Who have we left out? Are there any Southern Baptists here tonight? Yeah? Okay, this is not about you. What a fucked up group of people they are. Now, the reason I say this is every year they get together and they have a convention. And at their convention, they decide who they're going to target for that year. So a few years ago, they decided that gay people were responsible for El Nino. And as a result, they went after Disney. Now it's a huge failure. So last year, they thought they'd pick an easier target, women. So they announced their platform, which is that women should submit graciously to their husbands. Yeah, it was the graciously part that I had the trouble with. Because this implies that somewhere there were some women who were submitting rather ungraciously. Yeah, I'll submit, you bastard. Guess they just got tired of having to beat their wife to submission. That's exhausting, isn't it? You know, Clinton was a Southern Baptist. But for him, the phrase was women should submit graciously. Just ended right there. But see, I wish we had those kind of problems now, don't you? Even at the time, it was ridiculous. I mean, come on, the guy made a mistake. He made a mistake. He misunderstood the role of the president. Which is to fuck the country as a whole, not individually. George Bush understands that. So I recently got married, because it's legal, and actually he won me on a game show. Wants to marry a tax deduction. The most ridiculous part, though, is apparently now we're expected to have children. We are way too immature for that. I get up at 7 p.m. and go to work for 15 minutes. I think if we ever are ready, we're definitely going to be the older parents. You know, the much older parents, who are going to tell the kids that their parents died in a car accident. They're really their grandparent. And that's why we're too tired to do anything fun. No, I don't think we'll be having any kids, because it's socially irresponsible and genetically narcissistic. And aside from that, it hurts. See, and I remember from science class that pain is there to tell us not to do things. Ow, the stove is hot. Take your hand away. We're not supposed to be having kids. That's basic science. However, I've always wanted to give birth to kittens. I figured it would hurt less. Then when you're done, you'd have kittens. Oh, not the babies. The parents. They were so self-righteous. They kept saying in the press, God really wanted us to have these 7 babies. No. No, God didn't want you to have any. That's why you were infertile. It was Pfizer wanted you to have those. Oh, I really would have kittens now. I have 3 cats, but I'm only allowed 2. So 2 of them have the same name. And there was a while there where I had my phone listed under one of the cats' names, because I keep getting these unsolicited obscene phone calls. Which, you know, some people like, but for me it was just some assholes too cheap to call a 900 number. So I changed my listing to Betsy and Bucky Salkind. Bucky, of course, being the cat. All right, 2 of them. Immediately I stopped getting phone calls. But then Bucky started to get calls. He was always doing business hours, be like, hello, is Bucky Salkind there? Yes? Yes, he is. Can I tell him who's calling? Yeah, this is Richard Johnson from the First National Bank. Really? And what might this be regarding? Well, that's between me and Bucky. Mr. Johnson, I'm terribly sorry, but Bucky can't come to the phone right now. Because he's licking his ass. I do hope that was one of those calls they recorded for quality assurance. All right, here's my impression of Bucky sneezing. Okay, how about the cat in heat? No, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to drag myself along the stage. The shit on her head. No, instead I'll do this is the male cat. In heat, or whatever. Whatever, you know, he's doing. Okay, this is him. Okay, some of you might have seen me before, in the park, or I'm known as the squirrel lady. Okay, I'm going to close here with my impression of a squirrel, and what?
Do Arnold.
Do Arnold? Ew.